What's up guys, Sub-Zero here, back for another VOD review. Today we have a crazy one-trick profile. This is Coloshiya. They're already masters, 111 LP in the Japanese server, ranked 18. And if you scroll through their match history, you see something pretty interesting. Basically, every single game is a Primordian Reroll game, but it's also not the Primordian Reroll that I have reviewed before, the Primordian Reroll that really most people are talking about. It's actually this weird variation where they end up playing Kaisa, they end up playing Rost here because you can fit a ton of synergies. You fit Jin in later. It's a really kind of interesting cook that they did here, and even like Tom Kench for Bruiser here. But you can see just absolutely blowing up on the ladder, just doing insanely well. You can actually, they have a Twitter account, so you can follow them, and they kind of post every once in a while just little tweets about the comp and just in general their games and that kind of stuff. So you should definitely go give them a follow. I'll have the link in the description down below. Obviously they are tweeting in Japanese, but you know, you can use the translate, and it's like not the worst, honestly. The crazy other thing about this player is if you scroll up and see mobile exclusive, this is a mobile player. This is someone who hit master tier only playing mobile, only playing this reroll comp, which is absolutely crazy. Just, I mean, goes to show the variety of ways that people play TFT. Now, I do have a VOD of Coloshiya playing this comp. Actually, I'm probably the only person in the world who does have that VOD. Unfortunately, they bot forward in that VOD, so we're gonna do the next best thing, honestly, maybe even the better thing, which is we're gonna watch Dishsoap play it, because Dishsoap saw the stuff from Coloshiya and decided to play it himself in one of his games. And so Dishsoap, very, very good at optimizing these kind of lines. I wanted it, I was like, oh my God, I actually got a VOD of Coloshiya. I'm using my new like VOD tool where I pull up like player profiles and stuff like that, and I do have a cool VOD for you guys tomorrow, actually, of a Vietnamese player who is climbing really hard with a different one-trick comp, so I'm excited about that. But I was like, oh my God, yes, I got the VOD, and then I started watching the VOD back, and also my tool sometimes doesn't record properly because it's like coded by me, and that's probably a bad sign. But I did all of that, and then I looked at the game and they went 6th, and I was like, that's probably not a great game to VOD review for the channel. So next best thing, we got Dishsoap here playing it, and Dishsoap, you know, is going to play it by the book the exact same way that Coloshiya plays it, and, you know, maybe with some actual, like, nice additions to it. So roll down here, we do see this Apotheotic Forge, which is a fantastic augment in general. At this point, I don't think Dishsoap is thinking of playing Primordian Reroll from this spot, but after he sees the Evelyn's Instinct, after even just, you know, now seeing 3 Primordian here, I think we do have a fantastic spot for this. We have the 3 Primordian to start the game. We have an artifact, which is really, really nice. We can make Giant Slayer Slam, which is a really, really good damage item in this spot here. You could make Sterex as well, but it's just a really solid item that is going to help you get takedowns, let Briar reset, and just do a bunch of damage. It also leaves the belt open for things like tank items. It's kind of interesting when Coloshiya plays this line, they usually actually don't fit in the Atrox on this board. It doesn't provide any traits, especially if you are going this like Rost, like crazy synergies version. And so you actually, in this version, do have a reason to build stuff like Shred Sunder, in this case, Heal Cut as well, because we are not playing 5 Nova in this version either. Coloshiya, in their Twitter, has a tweet that is basically like 5 Nova sucks and you never play it, essentially. And it's kind of reasonable. I mean, we have to invest really, really hard in 5 Nova. And for what? I mean, it gives an extra ability to Akali, which is cool. But this is the other thing about the way Coloshiya plays this line is you don't actually have to go for Akali 3. It's really like a hit your 3-star Primordians and then tempo and just get out, you know, get to the rest of your board. And makes a lot of sense. You know, when I've played this line in the past, I've always felt like, okay, it's really easy to get to my 3 Primordian 3-stars, but if I want to find a Kali 3, I have to spend a lot of gold rolling. I mean, if you guys remember, the last time we VOD reviewed Dishsoap on this line, he went for Akali 3, Belva 3, and he had to go really, really, really deep to pick up the Akali. Acceleration Hex actually sounds pretty lit here. Does also give you an even Shroud Slam. The only funny thing is like, where are we actually putting this Hex? I mean, you could go Steamroll, but the Rod is like really yucky. So yep, we will pick this up here. Gonna grab the Grag S here. I guess we'll just put it second row onto the right here. That is also a Thomas Kench who, 1, does go on this board, and 2, is a very, very good hit for this line. So this is going to be an optimal spot for this line, I will say. I don't think you can get any better than this here. We are gonna Acceleration Hex on the left side here, actually, with the idea that that maybe this just gives us a little bit more, opportunity to position versus some people, and we will very likely 5-streak in this spot. I've talked about it before, but this artifact in this line, Evelyn's Instinct, is just so good. I mean, it's good on the Briar or Briar, however you want to say it right now. And later it's going to be amazing onto the Belveth here. We will also see how Dishsoap wants to play the rolling curve for this line, because this is a line in this variation we were just going for a 3 Primordians 3-star. We'll see how deep he wants to roll on something like a level 5, and how deep he wants to roll on something like a level 6 here. This is actually where I think Dishsoap's like, he goes to TFT Academy, which, he writes TFT Academy, which is hilarious, deletes the comp that's on there on TFT Academy in his planner, and plans out this variation where you play the Kaisa, the Jin, the Thomas Kench, and then you get a Kali in as well with the Kindred. So the only Nova units you're playing are the ones that have direct synergies: the Bruiser, the Challenger, and the Marauder on this board. And the rest you just say, Caitlyn, Blech. I'm not, worrying about playing a Caitlyn on my board. If you do think about it, it is to play 5 Nova, like 2 reverse Fawns. You have to play 2 units that really don't do anything on your board late game. So why would you play those when you could play units that just give you a bunch of traits, make your board actually stronger, and put you into a great spot? So makes a lot of sense here. We get some extra items here, which honestly can slam pretty nicely into, I mean, you could make Sunfire Declaw, maybe you would here, but yeah, we're going to roll a little bit here, but yeah, I think this makes a lot more sense. Even Shroud and just hold on to the rest in the spot. Could even slam Gargoyle if we really feel a need to for our streak, but he's gonna say, you know what, we're fighting an Ezreal one here. Don't think that that's going to be able to get through our Thomas Kench. Also, I guess TK's been nerfed, so is this a crazy high roll? I mean, yeah, it's still pretty high roll to hit that. I mean, you'll always take an early TK, I would say. Next, Augment here, and yeah, we do just get the gold spit out from TK. Doesn't actually print any units here. Instrument and Killer with the GS slammed is pretty funny, and honestly doesn't even sound bad. He's kind of thinking about, would I rather just exclusive, and he says yes. I would rather just pick this up here in the spot here, and he is going to roll relative, I mean, not necessarily deep, because we're still sitting at 50 here, but a good bit on actually level 5 here. So yeah, his opinion, which makes a lot of sense, is that this is still a line where, and he does pick up Quicksilver here, which is huge, can move the items back to the Belveth, which is great. This also lets us get out of Rogue, so we aren't forced to play some weird units that we don't want to play. But yeah, like, in his opinion, you can play this line very, very much so as like a roll on 5, hit your 3 stars, and then push level 6, and then play for your Belveth, which makes a lot of sense. I believe this is how Coloshiya plays it as well. It's just the intuitive way that you would play a line like this. Doesn't make a lot of sense to roll on 4, because, you have a lot of stuff that you can find on 5 here with, I mean, you can see as we're rolling it down, we're finding a ton of Belveths on 5 and the rest of our other units. And the other thing is that Primordian does print all these units. It doesn't feel bad at all to just sit here, even if you don't have the ability to, like 3-star Belveth on level 5. If you 3-star your other units, you might just end up printing the Belveth. So I like this kind of middle of the round here, and like, vice versa. If you randomly find Belveth 3 on 5 and you're like 1 off of Rek'Sai, well, just wait a little bit, and then the Primordial will print it for you. You'll have your Rek'Sai 3, and you'll have a really good time. So yeah, makes a lot of sense. We'll pick up another win here for the 8th streak, by the way, which just makes this spot look so good. Stormhex, I'm actually curious to see, who it ends up going on here. Honestly, it's not bad onto the Kaisa. She hits multiple targets. The Kindred could be used as well. I imagine we will just end up backlining this here, but we will see. And that extra Belveth makes us very close to hitting. That is Rek'Sai 3. We actually end up printing one that we don't need, which is funny. And now we're going to push 6. So the idea is find one of your 3 stars first, the Rek'Sai or the Briar, and then push level 6, and then roll the rest of your gold on 6 to have better odds of finding the Belveth 3-star. I think it makes perfect sense. This just allows you to hit your stability here, which is, in this spot, it's like the Rek'Sai 3, which is very, very nice. And then, now we push to level 6, we have a ton of gold here to roll on 6, and the dream is that we even like print another Belveth, and then we just roll like once on 6. Yeah, this happens so frequently with this line where, you just print this many Belveths, and boom, we're almost there. And you can see in this spot, we're nowhere near a Kali 3. This definitely happens a lot when you are just playing the kind of the old school version where you'd be stuck on no Akali. And in spots like this, especially when you're kind of like closer to the Akali 3, I think a lot of people would be like, I gotta roll deep here, try to find Akali. It's really difficult. To print Akali, Primordian, it feels like kind of a crapshoot. It does have some kind of tailoring to your board. Like, you definitely do print Akali's some of the time, but it's not very often. A lot of the time, like I've talked about, you know, you'll sit there for like 5 rounds and print like maybe 1 Akali, versus with all these Primordian units, feels very, very tailored, right? Every round so far, it feels like we're printing a Primordian unit. So it's really, really easy to coast your Primordian 3 stars here and then push levels to play the rest of your board here. Like, boom, we can get the Rostin on the board. 4 traits in for now, pretty underwhelming, but it's going to get better later. So don't worry your pretty little head. Gonna reforge the cloak here just to look for something better. We end up getting red buff. Yeah, I mean, this looks amazing. We can make red buff here. We can make the Vow, which is an amazing Rexa item. We're going to throw the Hodge onto the Kaisa for now, which is a bit underwhelming. But the idea is eventually this is going to move over to the Briar, I guess. And we can just chill for this and continue our win streak here. But yeah, I mean, continuing to win, 100 HP streaking here. You can see just the power of this board. It gives you a Jhin, which you want on this board, but yeah, I mean, you can't take it. It'd be really funny. I mean, I wonder if you do ever just take Explosive Growth and just use this to push like Fast 8, Fast 9 in this spot here, because that is how you truly cap this board, is pushing levels. I don't love Plot Armor that much. It's just a combat here. So yeah, he is going to pick this up here and then look at pushing levels. And once again, I think we portaled in another Briar this round. So we are very likely 1 round off of just portaling into the Briar 3, which is just, it's so nice to just get your 3 stars for free and then just use that tempo instead of like, you know, the more that I think about it, the Akali version where you go for Akali 3 all the time and like try to play 5 Nova really feels like you're just artificially creating a roadblock for yourself, you know? Instead of like creating that artificial roadblock for yourself, you can just use the tempo of this line. And I mean, you can see now all the traits that we have in this version here with the Nova, and you know, all of a sudden 6 traits on the board. And actually, if we fit Jhin in, it's going to be even more. So yeah, this makes a lot of sense here, and we can just continue to stay on this board for now. And we are sadly going to lose to Upset Max here, who has this. That was a Lost Streak cash out. That was a Radiant Field on the guy. Yep, Radiant Field on the Mighty Mech. So unfortunate, but hey, it happened. Last augment here. We already have Heal Cut made, so probably going to be the Blood Pact to pick up. And it's not even that bad. We don't really need item or to buy units that much these next few rounds. We can just get a ton of gold here and then push 9 with in an actually like, very rich situation here. We do find the TK here. Oh, am I crazy? What is... Oh, Blood Pact's the damage one. I'm thinking of the one where you can't buy units. I guess you can get both of those stage 4, huh? But he just takes the damage. I mean, that's totally fine. And we get to pick up the TK too, which is perfect here. And we also picked up another Rostov carousel, which was really nice. Now we have Rost 2, and we're in the situation where, wow, like Rost is actually providing us a bunch of stats on this board, which make a lot of sense on the Brawler board, because, you know, you have this really, really tanky Tahm Kench. Getting a bunch of extra armor and Amar onto that guy is really, really nice. I will say as well, this feels like a bit of a meta breaker comp, because if you think about the units that this comp contests, nobody plays these guys. Tahm Kench, I mean, sometimes he's getting played by the mech boards. Sometimes he's getting played by other boards. But like, he's really pretty uncontested compared to things like Nunu, things like even Rammus a lot of the time. He is one of the least contested tanks out there. And so pretty easy for you to, you know, in a spot like this, find your Tahm Kench too, even maybe have him print himself, which is, you know, kind of weird if you think too hard about it. But yeah, he can just end up printing himself and, you know, all of a sudden you'll have a TK too. The other thing that you can have is a Chibi Zaya code here. So boom, I'm going to put that on screen right now. Just want to make it, you know, so that people, you know, who, and here, let me move this here so that you guys don't get griefed here. I'll imagine that is enough time for someone to grab it here. And that's also enough time for Dishsoap to pick up these items off of his Treasure Dragon here. I mean, you really just want to slam for Briar items here, right? You have everything made at this point. Is it really? Yeah, I mean, Kraken Starrick sounds pretty nice in this spot here. And we are going to level to 9 and roll down for that Jhin, who goes so well onto the board here. Pick up the Kaisa 2 as well, pick up another Jhin, and really trying to find that Jhin too. But we can make these items for now. Move Kraken down to the Belveth here, and then we have to move GS up, is the idea, must be. Yep, I think this makes perfect sense. Yeah, the items look really, really nice here. And now we have hit the very quick level 9. What's funny about this spot is we don't actually have any combat augments here. We just have item augments and econ augments. So we'll see actually, you know, the power of this board from very far ahead, you know, economically. But it's going to be interesting to see how this board holds up throughout the rest of stage 5 and even into stage 6, because one would expect this board to fall off a cliff. It should fall off a cliff. It doesn't. If it doesn't fall off a cliff this game, then you're just going to be like saying that, okay, this line's broken. So yeah, makes a lot of sense. We also, in this setup here, I mean, the traits work out really, really nicely. You get a ton of traits in. Wow, we rotate into Upset Max again, which is really annoying. I wonder if there's a way to make Belveth wrap to, like, Belveth plus, we actually, oh my god, this more might be broken. This more might be broken. We just cleared Upset Max's board with a Radiant Field. Did he reach? This is an Acel 2. Should this comp, yes, we're level 9, but should we really win this fight? I mean, we actually just kind of, I'm insta replaying this because, like, we kind of chew through the Mighty Mech here. Yeah, he's just gone. Oh my god, an Upset Max down to 1 life now all of a sudden. All right, I've seen enough. I'm 20 out of 20 of this comp starting tomorrow. I will be the Coloshiya of NA. We will play this comp every game. Okay, maybe not. But I think if you have a 3 Primordian opener, you can, I mean, that fight looked pretty crazy, right? For a board that, like, if you really look at it, we have a 3-star 2 cost, a 3-star 1 cost, and a 1-star 5 cost as our carries here. I do not think fights like that should be that easy. We end up rotating into this board here. This is about where I thought the comp would do, but honestly, that fight was pretty close against a Marauder Kindred, which is one of the best spats in the game. And we lock in our top 4 already. I mean, that's what this comp is for, is locking in those top 4s. And Tom Kench locks in the Jhin on stage 5. He can print 5 costs, and my god, that is a good print. He's actually, like, scouting around to see if we want to, like, take, I'm not sure. I don't know why he was, I assumed he would just take the IE here, but I guess he was just scouting and he was always going to take the IE, probably. Rotate into a Teemo reroll board here, so it is a battle of the 1-cost rerolls here, though at least we're 1 and 2 costs, though Teemo is not bad at all, but Belveth just chewing through this board with the Evelyn's Instinct here, pick up a big fight win. Look at this lobby HP, man. Everyone's dead. And obviously, you can put items on a Kindred, carry Kindred on this board, but because we kind of skipped Kindred, went straight to Jhin, I mean, this is an easy, spot for us. Had we not done that, then, you can play around the Kindred and have a very, very good time of it. Look at that quick swap from him, trying to just make sure that TK gets all of the aggro here. Rotate into Upset Max here, who is the other Mighty Mech player, but once again, just absolutely cleared. I mean, it looks like the Mighty Mech's made out of paper. I mean, it's really nice to have the Jhin, what is this bonus called? Eradicator. The Jhin Eradicator bonus against these boards, shredding 10% armor to Mar versus those type of boards. It's really, really, really nice, actually. Also, ooh, look at this quick swap of the QSS down here to the Jhin, with the idea being, is there a Nunu in the lobby that we're really afraid of? I mean, we'll see what we end up getting here, but he's just saying, you know what, I want to play for max items on Jhin. We can level for Xayah here to get Sniper in, which is not bad at all. Is going to move the GS down here and then the DB up. I think he did a great job of itemizing. I mean, obviously, Dishsoap, just absolute king at this kind of stuff, and this is huge here. Just making sure to get the GS onto the Belveth, to just have her be, like, full damage in this spot here. The QSS, it's good crit onto the Jhin. We clear that board, so this is going to be probably a top 2 after this, and it almost looks like nobody can outcap Dishsoap. I mean, he's 64 HP, level 10, just coasting here. I mean, Tom Kench just throws up some gold here. I mean, that was a lot of gold, but I mean, there's not much left to hit here. I mean, I guess we can go for, like, Xayah 3 from this spot, but I mean, the extra trait, the Sniper, I mean, I think this is true cap for the line. We swapped the TK over last second here. Beautiful swap in the Teemo board. That is a Blitz 2, which is a bit worrying, but the Belveth just doing a ton of work into it with the Jhin backing her up. And yeah, that board is absolutely gone. And that's a double kill. 6-2. The game is over for Dishsoap, and it's an easy dub with this Coloshiya inspired line. I mean, what can you say? I am very, very impressed watching this comp. Definitely something that I'm going to try out more in my own games. And let me know in your games how this comp goes. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, if you did, please like, comment, and subscribe. Check out my Twitch, my Metafy, all my other links down below, and I will see you guys in my next video. Also, follow my, I'm posting more short form, obviously, on here as well. But if you have a TikTok and you like to scroll through TikTok, and instead of, like, brain rot videos, you want educational TFT videos, follow my TikTok down below. I'm actually, we're doing pretty well on it. I'm posting more regularly there, so go check it out if that's something you're interested in. And aside from that, GG's. Bye-bye.